All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia. I'm the founder and CEO of Gar Capital. Glad to be with you here this morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on our YouTube channel. Friday, May 17th, back to the end of the week, getting ready to close out the week. And then we got some big stuff coming up next week, mainly NVIDIA earnings. So we'll talk about that on our recap video over the weekend on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos here on YouTube. Dow futures are up 16 points. We're relatively flat. 28 points on the NASDAQ with the S&P up 0.08%. The Russell's down 0.23%. GameStop being the big part of that. They're falling this morning on an stock offering. Let me see if I can get that headline for you guys. Let's see. GME also reported preliminary Q1, and that was a miss of expectations of 872 million to 892 million. 1 billion was the expectation. The stock, last I checked, was down nearly 20%. China attempts to end property crisis with broad rescue package. That was some headlines overnight. And then I think there was one more piece of headlines here. Oh, yes. Spot silver breaks the $30 an ounce level. It's last up 1.5%. We talked about the dollar and how that's going to affect commodities. Now, finally, silver is coming around. First, it was copper. Well, then it was gold, or gold, then copper. Now it's silver. So let's go ahead and take a look at silver. We talked about GameStop, again, being a part of the IWM or Russell. That's why it's down. SLV, if we break above, let's see, 2791. I'm going to have to expand this a little bit. Again, that wedge breakout, lovely. We're going to go ahead and zoom this out. 28 is my level to break, or 2791 on SLV. I'll keep an eye on the options market for any additional volume out there, but keep an eye on anything near the 30 level. More than likely, that's going to be the target for most traders, since that was the time that we rejected back in 2000 and I guess 12 or 13. Again, this is a weekly candle chart, so we really had to broaden this out. But again, bullish setup. Again, break above 28 on the SLV. We'll see if we do some calls there. So SLV looking very, very nice. Let's take a look here. Crude oil is up 0.62%. Let's take a look at crude oil together. Let's see crude oil. We're going to go to the daily. And again, just kind of holding pat. Now, if this breaks down, that's going to be trouble. But so far, so good. Just holding up as we get closer to that 200-day moving average. Again, you're still at a golden cross, 50 above the 200. But again, we got to hold this support here. You may get a couple of wicks below like we've had a couple sessions ago. But for the most part, it looks like we are holding up for now. But that is dependent on this guy right here. That is the dollar. Again, you can see that wedge formation, but we did break down below it and then we bounced. So let's go ahead and see. Yeah, we're kind of just consolidating here, downward channel. Yeah, stay below 105. And then again, I still fully expect that the dollar will move down this way, all the way down to 101. Again, that's going to help commodities. That's going to help Bitcoin. So let's keep an eye on Bitcoin this weekend. Crypto, weekends are for crypto, right? Beautiful here on the daily breakout. We're now at the 50-day. 70,000 would be my initial target here. So how would we trade this? You could do futures. You could do Bitcoin futures, and you can do BITO. 2694. What can we wait for? We can wait for 28 to break. We can wait for the volume to break up. Either way, it is a breakout. You could always be a little more conservative and wait for that 2874 level, or we can use that as our target moving forward. So let's see how the volume is this morning. And if we get something nice and juicy, we'll go ahead and fill it and see if we can gap up on Monday with a dollar pullback. And you can see copper moving higher, now above the $5 level. Hallelujah, because that is going to help what? FCX. That's Freeport McMoran. So finally, you could see copper starting to move higher. Looks like it's going to target those highs of around $5.12. Let's take a look at FCX on this move. Again, that pullback. And again, we're right here on the 1 hour 50. See if we can get above 54 or so, or 53.50. I fully expect FCX to come around. Again, this is a name that we have traded many times. And we've done very well with it. So let's take a look at the daily. Again, you have that upward kind of move there, kind of upward wedge. If we would have broken down here around below 50, I would have felt a lot more depressed. But we are holding up very nicely. It looks like that breakout initially happened, but 54 is coming, and I'm fully expecting of that. Let's take a look here. Oh, thanks, Clifton. Appreciate that. Let's take a look at euro dollar. That's down about 19 pips. Dollar again's up 31 pips. Aussie dollar bouncing a little bit from the lows. We have an Aussie dollar long signal that we sent. Pound dollar is flat. Bitcoin is up, like we said, and Ethereum is up as well. So FCX on the move. A couple of trades I filled yesterday. I filled BABA calls. And so far, so good. We have the 90 calls that should hit this morning. I thought it would hit yesterday, but it didn't. If I don't know if you guys heard, but Michael Burry is bullish. If you really care if he's bullish or not, I think he's bullish on China stocks. But really, it's something that we've been talking about in terms of Chinese names. Baidu was breaking out. Alibaba, we got above the 200-day. We got a target around 94.26. That's your gap fill on the daily, but 90 was the strike that we have currently. Again, we could hold this all the way really to 96 on Alibaba. We have time. So I prefer that the team get their profits immediately, but to each their own. Bank of America. This is tough because I have the 40 calls and we're running out of time. So I had a question on Masterclass and seeing if we should roll it over. I think we should skip rolling it over because I filled city calls. So again, I still have that $40 to $41 target. It just wasn't fast enough for us. Today is OPEX, so if this was supposed to turn around, it needs to happen like immediately. Citibank, again, breakout similar to Bank of America. I'm going to use Citibank as a way to make back Bank of America, and I have a target of right around really longer term in a sense, say medium term, around 67. But we have the 65 calls pretty close to the strike. We should be able to catch that. It is up pre-market, 64.48 being the target. Again, just breakout. That's basically it. I like the banks. It just, we ran out of time on Bank of America, it seems. So would I roll it over? No. We could take a look and see if there is any other volume out there, but we got Citibank for that reason, or we're holding Citibank for that reason to make up for Bank of America, because I still like banks long. Goldman Sachs, 52-week highs. JPM, 52-week highs, or all-time highs on both. It's just Bank of America is just a slow stepper. This is a breakout, guys, on the daily. You even got an possible inverse head and shoulders if you want to see it that way. But that's where we are. Good morning. Good morning. AMD calls for NVIDIA earnings. That would be very, very expensive, so I would not send that. AMD ripping each day. Again, guys, it broke my alert yesterday. It broke above 164.46 to around 167 or so right here. But we're moving up pre-market. What can I do there? 164.46 was really the target right near the 100 and the 50. So now you're right around, you got to break above here, 169 or so. That's the 50-day. But AMD has more to go. The problem is that the IV, the implied volatility, is juiced because of NVIDIA earnings next week. So again, you're paying top dollar right now, the highest you could possibly pay in a sense for AMD at the moment. And again, we're breaking out, no problem. We will get a crack at it, but let's get NVIDIA earnings out of the way because AMD is starting to get expensive. I cannot signal those for regular guys, for our premium members, our options members. Masterclass, maybe, but not for our regular signal. It's just too expensive for everybody. We're talking about $9 options. That's not going to fly in our server, unfortunately. Is Tesla hitting 180 soon? I have an alert there. I think I have, what is it, 180, 185, 184.69. We're bouncing off the 50-day. Got to get me up to 185 before we can do anything. I got to ask that question this morning too. Intel broke my alert as well. We do have a gap to fill right around 34 or so. It's trading at 32.15. I have an alert at the recent highs of 32.28. If that breaks, I'll keep an eye on the volume. I talked about it yesterday. 34 to 35 target would be pretty nice because that would just fill the earnings gap. So, but we didn't trade that. We traded BABA and Citi yesterday, which I still have open. And FCX bounce. Will we get this today? I hope so. I mean, yesterday just pulled back. Like right in the morning, it just pulls back. I mean, but this morning we're getting a little bit of a change because, well, copper's up. So we need copper to keep moving higher for FCX to keep going higher. As you can see, Freeport McMoran says it right there, copper and gold Inc. That means we need this guy and this guy to go higher. So we will see. Have a great rest of your day, guys. I will see you guys as well. See you guys as well on the weekly video, and we'll see you then. Have a great rest of your Friday. Cheers.